Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to episode 4 of the Tekkit Classic Let's Play. Today I think the plan is going to be to get our power set up finally, get a bunch of solar panels, and then hopefully set up an automatic smelter system in this back wall here. But that's going to require a lot of materials. One thing that I will do first is, I guess you noticed that these stairs are done. In the last video I said that I was doing some minor base improvements, but I actually had to cut it out of that video because it was just too long with all the tree farm stuff. So, I mean, there's really not much to it. I just placed some stairs here, and then this balcony out here has a bit of a fancier railing here made with micro blocks. So there's a thin layer of glass with a nice basalt cover on top. So yeah. This is probably my least favorite sound of all time. This is the sound of the macerator trying to run at the same time as the electric furnace. I have my solar panel connected to this, and it is not even strong enough to power a single macerator and a single electric furnace. So we're going to need to make a ton of these solar panels to power the super smelter that we're planning on building here. Okay. I did some testing in a creative world, and the design that I want to do for the automatic smelter takes an insane amount of power. And I crunched the numbers of how many materials it would take to make these solar panels to do all that power. And it would cost 20 stacks of rubber, 10 stacks of copper, and 15 stacks of refined iron, which is just an absolutely crazy amount. So I think I'm only going to build part of it at first, and then kind of expand it as we go on and get more materials. But it's going to have 4 or 5 total modules, and each module is going to be made up of 3 macerators and then 2 electric furnaces, because I'm pretty sure that's the numbers or the ratios of how many macerators you need to furnaces, because macerators are 3 times slower than furnaces, but they produce 2 items. So that ratio should be good. And so I think we're only going to make 2 modules, which is 6 macerators and 4 electric furnaces out to start. Hopefully if we do that, we don't have to make so many solar panels, and we can get a good startup to help us out in the future. I think the first thing that we're going to do is create a little bit more solar panels, just so I can actually use this machine setup. Because right now if I try to run the extractor, the macerator, and the furnace at the same time, the solar panel cannot handle it. So I might try to make 2 or 3 more just to get us started, so we can actually use these machines to then make even more solar panels. So it's very exciting. One thing that we can do while we're waiting for everything to get ready is build a place for our solar panels. So I don't think I want these to be outside, just because I want to be able to maintain them without going outside. So I think I'm going to just make a little room here that's going to have a glass roof that we can access to, I guess, add more solar panels or upgrade them later. Okay, so now whenever you come down the stairs, you can go through this little area, and then this is where all of the solar panels are going to be. Right now we're not going to fill this all the way up, but eventually I would like to have solar panels filling up this entire space. And then we have a glass ceiling up top so that the sunlight can come through and power our solar panels. So it's a pretty basic little room, got some lighting. Yeah, so now we just got to fill this place with solar panels. I honestly do not know why they made solar panels in this game so expensive. Like, I feel like it's almost cheaper to just build the end-game nuclear reactor than it is to have an actual viable power source with solar panels, which just kind of feels weird. I could build the nuclear reactor now, but for that I would need a steady supply of uranium, and if you build that wrong or you run out of coolant, it can like destroy your entire area. So I don't think I'm quite ready to do that yet. And also it just kind of feels weird to just skip straight to the end game, so I think we're just going to stick with solar panels for now, and hopefully this grind doesn't take too long. Okay, finally got enough solar panels to make one more low voltage solar array. So our power output is now effectively doubled, so that's actually pretty good, because I think we can actually run all of our machines now without one of them running out. Yeah, I was moving the solar array from this area into this one, and I just realized that the wires for these machines on the wall are actually going to clip through to this side, which isn't really ideal. I mean, maybe we could deal with it. It's not really the end of the world, but it's still a little bit ugly. Okay, we got three low voltage solar arrays in. I replaced the cables with glass fiber cables because the copper cables were losing too much power. I'm not too familiar with the system that requires or that causes power to fall off over distance, but in my creative world when I was experimenting, the copper cables for some reason just would run out of power completely within only 10 blocks or something like that. So I went ahead and replaced them with glass fiber cables, and it actually did help improve the power supply by a lot. Alright, one more thing. I ended up actually moving this solar panel room back one block just because I really did not like those wires poking through the wall. So, yeah, I basically just doubled up this wall and then extended it one more this way. So, no more annoying wires through the walls. Okay, I came back to the turtle farm just to see if I had any more rubber ready for me, and it looks like we lost a turtle. I searched around in there for him, and I could not find him. And then this guy somehow got rid of his last log in his inventory, and so he just started mining straight through the trees. Okay, found the turtle. He is currently flying up into the air. I'm trying to catch him on my jetpack, but I don't think I can. I think I'm on the max level that you can fly at. So I don't really know how to get him back down. I think he might just be stuck up there. And again, I think that happened because he ran out of logs. Because whenever it's cutting down trees, it will basically go up indefinitely until it reaches something that is not in their hand. And their selected slot is a log, and so it will use that log and keep going up until it's no longer a log. But if there's nothing in there, then it will just keep going up until it's no longer air. And so I guess that's what happened. So getting a roof on this thing should actually probably be a bigger priority. Okay, I actually think I fixed the issue. I was doing select instead of turtle.select, so it was never actually selecting the right slot whenever it was dumping the items in the chest, which is really bad. I actually don't know why it worked for so long, because it never should have worked in the first place, so that's actually very weird, but I guess that's just how things are sometimes. We're actually going to have to do a little bit more mining for this machine. We're going to need quite a few more diamonds just because these glass fiber cables that we need to transmit the power, they require 1 diamond to make 6 of these. So they're pretty expensive, and we're going to need a lot more, so we're going to need to get a lot more than 3 diamonds, so I guess it's back to the mines. Actually, one thing I want to do before I go down to the mines is make an alchemy bag, which basically just functions as a backpack. So for that, the recipe is kind of confusing. There's a lot of different steps for some reason. But it's basically going to take the last bits of my diamonds. So it's a good thing that I kept 3 just as a backup because I'm going to need them. And just like that, we got ourselves an alchemy bag. And wow, this is a lot bigger than I remembered. Okay. One thing I do remember about this is I'm pretty sure if you put the alchemy bag inside of this inventory and then close it, you will lose everything in this inventory because you put the bag inside of its own inventory and then there's no way to access it again. Actually, you might be able to just I might be like ender chests, I don't really remember. I just know that if you do that, it's really bad, so you don't want to do that. Okay, went out and collected a little bit more food so I didn't starve, grabbed my mining turtle and some fuel. I should put my backpack on now before I forget, and now we're ready to go mining. Alright, we're at the coveted y = 11, So now we should be able to just start mining. Okay. Oh, fuel. That's right. Okay. Now we're ready to start mining. Alright, we made it to the end of the turtle tunnel, and this is what we got from just the strip mine alone, which is pretty crazy. I mined every bit of coal I could just because, I mean, I feel like every time I have just a completely unusable amount of coal, because it's just so much, I go through it in like a day. So, got a ton more coal, probably more redstone than we'll ever need, and 51 diamonds, which is actually really good. We also mined through a mine shaft, which is really cool. I kind of forgot that mine shafts were even in this version, so this will be fun to explore and see if we can find some melon seeds, because I know we'll need those for crossbreeding later. Do y'all remember these weird squares they used to generate? Every time I would run into these, I'd always like shit my pants because I thought Herobrine was in my world and he was like living here or something, but it's very weird that terrain just generates like this naturally. Okay, I actually found another mine shaft on the way back and found a chest. Oh, come on, man. There's not even any seeds in here. This is just a bunch of garbage. Okay, I guess I'll take the iron and redstone. And I don't even know if it's worth taking the bread, but that's not really what I wanted, though. That's kind of unfortunate. Okay, ran into a bit of a sticky situation with some cave spiders. I honestly should not have survived that. But somehow by the will of God I did. I somehow ended up with this power 1 bow. I don't know if I got this from killing a skeleton or something, but it's weird that it's like a fully repaired enchanted bow, like perfect condition. Usually they just give you like a bow with like no durability with no enchantment, so I don't know, maybe it's like a rare drop or something, but I gotta figure out how to get out of here. Alright, another chest. Hopefully we get better luck this time. Okay, pumpkin seeds. Nice. Okay. That'll actually help us a bit in the future. Alright, I found another chest and it had melon seeds, so we're actually set. I don't think we need anything else from these strongholds. Alright, finally made it back to the house, and this is the final haul. For one mining trip, this is pretty insane. I mean, we have so much coal and redstone, and we found almost an entire stack of diamonds, like 4 stacks of iron, not quite as much copper as I would have liked. We were mostly digging for diamonds, and I think copper spawns less frequently at lower levels, so it makes sense. But I mean, the most important things are honestly the diamonds, the coal, and the iron. And I think we should be set with those for a very long time. Hopefully. Hopefully I don't run through all this coal in like the next, like, 2 days, but that honestly might happen. And look at this chest. This is the chest where I keep all of my like ores and mining stuff, and this is absolutely crazy. Hopefully once I get the super smelter down, I can start breaking down a lot of this ore, and then it'll only get more and more. I'm honestly probably gonna have to make like a bulk storage. I kind of want to have like one of these crystal chests. This is the highest tier of chests. I kind of want to have like one of these for each metal, so have an entire crystal chest with iron, an entire one with copper, an entire one with coal and redstone. I think that'd just be like a cool thing to have, and like a nice goal to accomplish, especially once we start getting automated mining systems, is we can just automatically mine until an entire crystal chest is filled with everything, and then we basically just never have to worry about mining ever again. But we probably won't have to worry about mining for a very long time anyway, but I just thought I'd show that off because this is just so much stuff. Alright, we can finally start putting in the machines for the smelter. So we're going to have the macerators on that level, and then they are going to pump items out and into these furnaces here. And so we have 3 macerators to every 2 furnaces. So every 2, it's going to skip 1, kind of like that. So these 3 will get pumped into these 2 furnaces, and then these 3 will get pumped into these 2. Alright, and pretty similar to how we did the fuel setup for the turtle tree farm, we're going to have redstone pipes that go along on top of the furnaces, and then we're going to have transposers. That's not how they're supposed to place. We're going to have transposers that face into these macerators, take items out on a timer. Can't seem to place these right. Okay. We'll have these on a timer that will pull the items out of the macerators and put them into the furnaces. Alright, we got all the piping in, or at least the output piping. So we still need to do the input pipes, which are going to be Buildcraft pipes because they allow you to distribute items more evenly. These pneumatic tubes actually just distribute to whatever the closest available spot is. So that kind of works out for this because all the items out of the macerators will just get automatically put into the nearest furnace. So you don't really have to do any complex logic with that, which is nice. And then for the output, obviously, there's just going to be an output chest, so it doesn't really matter if it goes to the nearest source, because that's what we want. But the input chest, or the input to the macerators is going to have to be different, because I don't want to just fill up the first macerator, and then once that has a full stack of items, then move on to the next one, right? I want to have one item in this, one item in this, one item in this, so that it can actually like distribute the load across all of them. Without having to fully fill up every single one before moving on to the next. Alright, I have the input chest set up, so I actually have 4 redstone engines pumping out items from this chest. It'll go underground and be evenly distributed among these 6 macerators. Whenever it's done, it will get sucked out of these tubes into the nearest furnace, and then once it's done, it'll get sucked out of these tubes. And then I just need to hook it up to this chest here, which should be just as easy as this. And then, yeah, that's it. It should work now. I should be able to, I guess I still need to connect it to power, but that should be pretty easy. It's just these glass fiber cables are just expensive. Yeah, let me show you actually how to make them. Let's just make 5. It costs 2 diamonds to make each one. Oh, no, just 1 actually. Yeah, so 1 diamond makes 6 cables. So, not ideal, but it's really not too bad considering how fast we can make diamonds, so it's alright. Alright, so grab the cable from the solar panels, and now all I should have to do is put them into the side of this. And now everything should be ready. I still need to pretty it up a lot more, do the floor, get rid of this dirt. Like I said, I only made 2 modules, which is about half, or which is half, so the next half will come a bit later. I just wanted to have something down to help me out, because I've been using this one macerator manually feeding into this one furnace this entire time, and it's just been driving me crazy. Alright, and the last part of this is a diamond pipe. So this pipe basically allows you to filter out what items you want to go in each direction. So I have it shooting off here. So in this red slot, everything I put in here will go off in the red direction and go into the macerators. So here I have 1 of each kind of coal that I suspect I will be getting. So now if any coal passes through this pipe, it'll be, or if any ore gets put into this pipe, it will shoot off in the red direction and get macerated and then smelted. And if it's not an ore, so if I want to just smelt some glass or something like that, it will just go up into the silver pipe and into this chest to be pumped out and go directly into the furnaces without being macerated first. Okay, so I have a bunch of stuff that I want to smelt. I'll probably just start with like a small proof of concept and let it pump out a little bit of iron, and then once it's got a decent amount of that, start making it pump a bit of basalt. And then we'll see it come in, and then we'll see that the iron will fill 1 into each slot. So that one got 1, and that one got 1, that one got 1, and it will evenly distribute it throughout all of them. And we'll see in here it's starting to get macerated, except for the power is actually, I guess, not good enough to power all these. It's only good enough to power 2 macerators right now. which is not great. And then the basalt gets filtered out into this chest, where it then gets sucked out and put into the furnaces. Yeah, this power setup is definitely going to need to improve if I want this to actually work. Is it? It is daytime, right? Yeah, it's daytime. It's just the solar panel setup is just very slow. Yeah, you can see this is running out of power too, so this does draw a lot of power. But it'll at least get me started with smelting up all this stuff. I might put some generators down just to give this a bit of a kickstart. But yeah, that's the basic setup. Alright, ignore the horrendous sound. We kind of ran into a bit of an issue where the copper doesn't have anywhere to go because all of these are filled with iron. So they just get dumped into the ground, which is definitely not what we want. So temporary solution for this might just be to loop it back around at the end. But as you can see, it's getting pushed down, trying to go there. But I guess whenever it can't go in there, it doesn't go back up and try the next one. It just gets dispensed directly onto the ground, which is a bit of an oversight on my part. So this might need to be redesigned a bit. Okay, I think I have an idea on how to make this work. It's not going to be super pretty, but basically we're going to have the same setup that we had on top with the distribution pipes, and those are going to go into like a buffer chest, and then the items will be pumped directly out of the buffer chest into these macerators, so that way they don't just get thrown on the floor whenever this is full. Okay, the redstone is actually being pretty tricky right now, so I think I'm going to make some red alloy wires, which is basically just redstone wires, except it's really helpful because they can actually be placed up walls. So back here, as I'll show you, I was having a lot of trouble getting the redstone signal from the timer here back up to these transposers that are on top of the macerators. So basically the idea of the system is the same. Everything will get filtered out if it's not an ore into here, and it will get pulled into those furnaces, and then everything else will be evenly distributed among these chests, and then whenever there is room for it, they will be pulled out here. Okay, I think we have the system set up. My sound is actually off. I do not know where all this random sound is coming from, but that's just part of the charm, I guess, is the bugs, all the bugs in this version. But it should be ready to go now. I stored all the ores and stuff over here. So let's throw a bunch of these in here and see if it will be able to handle this a bit better. I'm going to put a mix of things in here so that it can test, being able to not shoot all over the floor whenever there's like different items in there. Oh shoot, okay, I have that filter set up wrong. That's not good. These need to go in the white area. Can't open these chests. Okay, I guess these are just gonna get smelted. I don't think it's too big of a loss, but kind of unfortunate. But the Buildcraft pipes, or not the Buildcraft pipes, the what are these, Redpower pipes are a bit smarter. So as you can see, there's only one macerator that's open for this copper ore. So it's only pulling out the copper to go in there, and it's only it's not pulling out any of the iron or any other ores in there, because there's no space for them in any of these chests. So that is one good thing about Redpower, but it's just really annoying that these pipes can't connect. So you have to choose one or the other, and the only way that I know to connect these pipes is to pump into a chest and then pump them out of a chest. So it looks like these items are coming through now. They should be getting evenly distributed. Looks like roughly. Actually, they're kind of not, a little bit. I might have messed some of this up. Okay, we're back to the most annoying sound in the world. So I connected some generators up to our solar panel area, just as a temporary power source, just so I can get some more ores and stuff smelted down. Hopefully that's enough to power all these. Sounds like it is. It's just crazy that with 5 generators I can do more than that, like so many solar panels, like 3 times 8. like, what is that, 24 solar panels? Like 5 generators versus 24 solar panels, like, it's crazy. Like, the solar panels, I don't know why they made them so slow at generating power, but I really still want to use them because I don't want to have to worry about refueling them, even though coal isn't really an issue right now, which is why I'm okay with having them for now, but I don't want to just have to constantly worry about it. Alright, I think it's all running smoothly, so as you can see there's a bunch of ore in there, and it's flowing up to the furnaces because it is ore. I have some basalt coming, and that'll be filtered this way to get distributed among the furnaces, even though I don't think there's... Okay, there is an open furnace for them, so they will go to that one. And then all this is just the buffer for the macerators, which are currently pulverizing everything and making dust, which then gets sucked out and go to the nearest available electric furnace. And then here's our output. So it gets sucked out of the furnaces once it's done and gets put into this chest here. And we already have like a ton of iron, which is really good because I was almost out and that would have taken so long to do manually. So I definitely think that this was a good investment. Alright, so I got the place all prettied up. I even got the back there, even though you won't really see it, because I'm thorough, you know. But yeah, I mean, it's finished. It's working perfectly. It's got a ton of iron already ready for me, and I'm really happy with it. So I think that's going to do it for today. I really hope you liked the video. If you did, please leave a comment with any suggestions or ideas you might have, and I hope to see you in the next one. Thanks, guys.